order was restored, Dahmer, who never testified, addressed the court.
I know how much harm I have caused. I tried to do the best I could after the arrest to make amends, but no matter what I did, I could not undo the terrible harm I have caused. My attempt to help identify the remains was the best that I could do, and that was hardly anything. I know the families of the victims will never be able to forgive me for what I have done. I have seen their tears, and if I could give my life right now to bring their loved ones back, I would do it. I am so very sorry.
Judge Graham then read the sentence.
Count 1, the court will impose a mandatory life sentence.
Dahmer received a maximum penalty for each and every count. But his story was far from finished. In fact, it began to take on a life of its own. Jeffrey Dahmer was one of the most publicized serial killers in history. But the fascination with such murders began more than a century ago. In London, between September and November of 1888, someone murdered and mutilated 5 prostitutes. The killer wrote letters to the police and the London Times, taunting them with clues of his next murder. He signed the letters, Jack the Ripper. The lasting appeal of the Ripper legend is that he stopped after 5 killings and was never caught. Jack the Ripper became a model for how the media portrays serial killers. Modern-day killers like Albert DeSalvo, the Boston Strangler, and Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, gained catchy nicknames in the press. Son of Sam, David Berkowitz, also wrote letters to the newspapers. Our dark fascination with serial murders has spilled into our entertainment, spawning some of the most popular movies ever made. Inevitably, as the Jeffrey Dahmer case grabbed worldwide attention, those with an eye to profit took the marketing of killers one step further. Serial killer trading cards, t-shirts, even a comic book exploited and glamorized the crimes.
I don't think my book will bother him as much as the fact that Dahmer was in the top 25 most intriguing people of 1991 for People magazine.
Serial killers are mostly intrigued by themselves. In fact, they are so self-centered that one source of ego fulfillment can be the body count. In August 1991, when Jeffrey Dahmer's case was one of the top stories in the country, police in Mississippi arrested Donald Leroy Evans for killing a 6-year-old girl. Soon, Evans confessed to nearly 60 killings across the country, causing just the kind of speculation a serial killer enjoys.
It involves enough bodies to make people forget almost what happened in Milwaukee.
But to date, very few of the murders Evans confessed to have been verified. With homicide rates soaring nationally in the last 30 years, serial killers may be losing some of their shock value. When William Herons killed 3 people in Chicago in 1945, it was called the crime of the century.
Herons only killed 3 people. And when I say only killed 3 people, by today's standard, you don't even get attention of the media unless you've knocked off about 12 or 15 people.
In fact, it's all too easy to watch the stories about serial killers unfold in our newspapers and on our TV screens. It's a safe titillation of the height of evil, as long as we keep a distance. The alternative is not to hear about the killings at all, as was the case in the old Soviet Union. Under communist rule, the press was strictly censored in reporting violent crime. As a result, Russians never knew that serial killers like Andrei Chikatilo were on the prowl. The self-proclaimed mad beast murdered 53 people in a 10-year spree. With the end of censorship, his 1992 trial received wide press coverage and left viewers in disbelief and shock. Milwaukee is a city still healing from the crimes of Jeffrey Dahmer. Dahmer's apartment building was torn down about a year after the trial, erasing a painful landmark of his crimes. Then, on November 28, 1994, at the state prison in Portage, Wisconsin, Dahmer was sent on a bathroom cleaning detail with 2 other prisoners. When guards left the 3 unattended, one of the inmates, Chris Scarver, who called himself Christ, attacked both his fellow prisoners with a metal bar from a weight set. 2 hours later, Jeffrey Dahmer was pronounced dead at Divine Savior Hospital. The horror that one man brought upon an entire city is still difficult to comprehend.
There is no question in my mind that what Jeffrey Dahmer became was the embodiment of evil. I think that if we had lived in the Middle Ages, that would have been the defense. And a jury might have believed that, in fact, the devil took over his being and caused him to do these things.
Dahmer, of course, is evil. Dahmer knew it was wrong all the time. One of the reasons that he drank as he did the killings, I think, was to silence his conscience, to dull his conscience. This isn't a man that didn't know right from wrong. He knew it was wrong. He knew it was evil.
The hardest thing for the public to accept is that these men view humans as